every month at a major UFC and a major Bellator, one championship, there's some questionable MMA judging. Doesn't matter where it is in the world, it is controversial. Something wacky happened. And here we have 29-28 across the board via unanimous decision in the UFC 282 co-main event, which was more or less a co-lame event. Paddy Pimblett, the racist clout chaser, somehow defeated Jared Gordon via unanimous decision. Now, forget the fact that I don't like Paddy. Forget the fact that this guy made some awful comments this week. Forget the fact that he was clout chasing completely clowned by Ariel Helwani. Forget all that. All right? Forget all that. Okay? I watched Jared Gordon, who, listen, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but Jared Gordon's not a world beater. But I watched Jared Gordon with the reach disadvantage, with the height disadvantage, with everything working against him, have one hell of a performance. First couple rounds, I mean, was landing some major strikes, some significant strikes. I think in round number 1, he landed like 62% of the significant strikes. Had rocked Pimblett a little bit. And listen, Pimblett was coming forward. He was bringing the action too, but it was very clear that Jared Gordon was the more, I guess, the cleaner striker. Obviously more well-rounded. And so they go to round number 3. And Jared Gordon's just working for the takedown. Probably not the best strategy because he didn't land a lot of shots either. He probably should have thrown in some dirty boxing. I'm not an MMA expert, so I'm not going to criticize him for that. But still, even if you wanted to throw out round number 3, in no universe, not in the WWE universe, not in the multiverse of madness, not in AEW, not in New Japan Pro Wrestling, not in UFC, not in any normal UFC universe, did Jared Gordon lose rounds 1 and 2. And again, taking away how I feel about Paddy personally, he did fight an entertaining fight the first 2 rounds. So in terms of his fight style and how he hyped the fight, I'm not hating on that. Okay? But that has nothing to do with the fact that he did not win this fight. And to me, it's just like, listen, I'm not saying it's fixed or anything like that. That's stupid. I don't believe UFC would fix fights or anything like that. But as somebody who works in marketing and public relations, you may have heard about the James Krause controversy where he's a trainer, a cornerman who was allegedly betting on his own fighters and some other fights, and he's been banned, and it's caused the UFC a lot of problems in Canada. It could cause the UFC a lot of problems all across North America and the world. It's, Bellator's looking into auditing their system and everything. So you've had questionable MMA judging for years. You have this controversy with James Krause. Ontario comes down hard, or I think it was either Ontario or Alberta. One of the, maybe both provinces came down really hard on UFC for betting and shady information. You have the TJ Dillashaw controversy from a few weeks back where TJ Dillashaw didn't disclose he had a shoulder injury and then just gets destroyed by Aljamain Sterling. And then you have this. Now, granted, this is one bad decision out of many, but because it's a high-profile fight with the guy UFC put a lot of money and time behind, because in a co-main event spot on a pay-per-view, it's going to get more attention. People are going to ask more questions. And yeah, it just looks bad for the sport. And again, I'm not saying that Paddy isn't tough. I'm not saying that the guy doesn't have a chin. I'm not saying that the guy doesn't market fights well and isn't exciting, even though, again, I don't like him personally at all. But I'm not saying anything bad about his toughness or anything like that. And I thought as a rising star, quote unquote, like he did okay. But a couple things. One, did he match the hype? No. He got outworked by a guy who's a mid-level fighter, with all due respect to Jared Gordon. And that might be generous. And number 2, he did not win that fight. He didn't win the fight. So let's go to some of the comments here, because obviously, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. The King says 100% robbed. Jared won. Foxy Freddy, shout out to another Freddy, says, I'm a Paddy fan, but that was a robbery. Yeah, I agree. Caleb Newell, robbery. Jesse, completely rigged. Those judges are grimy. Errol, robbery. Paddy the Funny. Listen, I'm not gonna accuse the UFC of anything, but it does look very bad. Drex, biggest robbery in history. I don't know, bro. I'm old enough to remember Evan Dunham versus Sean Shirk, so I'm not gonna go that far. I also saw Melvin Manahoff in a title fight once where he got robbed really badly, so But this is a bad one. Tan Cheap, McFatass. That's a great name. 200% robbery. M. Kelly, total BS call. Drex, you never will because you'll get knocked out soon. Robbery. Yeah. Look, this is bad. This is not good. M. Kelly goes overrated. I agree. Look, this is bad because look, even if you think Paddy won, he didn't look great here. Like he did, he's a tough guy, but he didn't look great here at all. He didn't even look good, I would say. He didn't look well rounded. Yeah, I mean, people are saying like, oh, they want him to be the next Conor McGregor, and he's obviously not Conor McGregor. Let's listen. I don't like Conor McGregor personally either, but let's put some respect on Conor McGregor's name. Conor McGregor was the real deal. Conor McGregor passed all the tests back in the day. He beat tough guys like Dennis Seaver. He beat tough guys like Dustin Poirier, who's going to the Hall of Fame. So, obviously he ended up beating Aldo and Alvarez. So let's not compare him to Conor McGregor. I think a better comparison would be Michael Bisping. And let's keep it real. Michael Bisping, even early in his career, even during the quote-unquote steroid era, fought a really close decision with Rashad Evans, which I believe was in another weight class. I think it was like heavyweight. And, he did beat, for the most part, outside of like that Vanderlei Silva fight and maybe like another one, I'm not like remembering. Like Michael Bisping beat all the guys he was quote unquote supposed to beat. The first Rockhold fight, he wasn't technically supposed to beat Rockhold. He wasn't on paper supposed to beat Hendo. And people didn't see him at that level at the time. You know what I mean? But as a guy who talked a lot of crap, who was was from the UK, a guy that Dana White wanted to be like the European poster boy, like Michael Bisping passed pretty much all the tests. And again, even when he lost the fights he was quote unquote supposed to lose, he was still entertaining and did his job. The fact that Paddy Pimblett, and the fans of most people couldn't even beat Jared Gordon, what does that say? That says it's pretty embarrassing. That says he's overrated. And that says that judging absolutely sucks. And in fairness to the UFC, they don't pick the judges. And in fairness to UFC, I saw some pretty bad decisions on Bellator last night, which, by the way, we covered that last night. So if you want to check out some interviews, please check it out. But let's go to some of the comments here again before we get to the main event. Shout out to Ankalaev and Blachowicz. That's actually a hell of a fight. So I'm looking forward to that one. Vince Denny, I watched the live stats and saw that Paddy was way behind. Yeah, me too. The significant strikes especially. Ridiculous. Anyway, Ankalaev about to sweep. We'll see, but it should be a good fight. Could say Jared won all three. Yeah, I agree. So now we're going to be rewarded with more Paddy hype for no reason after he got clowned in the cage, clowned by a media guy in Ariel who had the receipts. Shout out to him. And get clowned by MJF, a pro wrestler, all in 1 week. The hat trick. Good freaking Lord. Martin Roberts says, I think Paddy did well counter. Listen, for a guy who is sort of on the rise, like he did fine. For a guy that's hyped as the next Conor McGregor or even Michael Bisping, he did horrible. And he lost that fight. Although, you know what? I guess if the rite of passage with European stars UFC wants to push. I mean, Michael Bisping, I think, once beat Matt Hamill in a fight that he didn't technically win. But again, Michael Bisping, more often than not, beat the guys he was supposed to beat. He beat Jorge Rivera. He beat all these, Alan Belcher. He beat all these, other guys. I don't remember. Chris Lieben. You know what I mean? Paddy couldn't even beat Jared Gordon. No offense to Jared Gordon. I'm sure he's a nice guy. My mailman's a nice guy, too. But anyway, if you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this update, like, share. Don't forget to subscribe. We just uploaded a ton of interviews from Bellator, from UFC 282, this pay-per-view you're watching right now. And yeah, we'll keep you posted on the light heavyweight title fight. Until next time, everybody. As always, enjoy the fights and goodness gracious, if I see another Joe Rogan video package talking about this guy, oh gosh. MMA judging sucks. That's all I gotta say. Absolutely sucks.